Hello YouTube, I decided to make how to rip a n64 model from the Project 64. What you will need is the Project 64 1.7, the LEMD3D9.dll. That's an upgrade from the 8 version. The 8 version was bugged in Windows 10 or something, that it would only give you the output. Someone asked that, but no textures, so get the new one. I'll put that in the description. I don't use Milkshake 3D anymore. I use Blender 2.7, and I'll put it in Unreal so you can see it actually working as a model. I won't be animating it, I won't be doing a skeleton, and I won't be remeshing or re-UVing. I'll be just showing you as a reference guide. So the first thing you need to do is get the LEMD3D9, and we'll copy it. Go to your Project 64 folder, go to plugins, GFX, and paste it in there. I have two, the old one and the new one. You just need the new one though. Go to local C, create a folder, capital letters, VRML. Make sure it's empty. Go back to your Project 64. Where did it go? Launch the Project 64. Go to Options, Settings. Go to Video Graphics plugin. Make sure it's n64 graphics. Combine debug. You can click About to make sure that you're on DirectX 3D9. Go to File. Load your ROM. I'm doing Diddy Kong. I've already got a save so I can load it. You press F2 to pause. Once you've got a location where you want it, you just pause it. Go to Option, Configure Graphics, Export to VRML. That's in the C drive. Click OK. You gotta get one frame, so you gotta unpause it and then pause it straight away. Now, if you go to your VRML file, you have a folder with random textures and an output WRL. So if you go to Blender really quickly, I'll put the screencast on for you so you can see what I'm doing. Select everything, delete. Go to the scene settings up here. I'm going to change the unit presets to centimeters so it's in metric. File, import, WRL, C drive, RML, output. And I can scroll in, and for some reason Diddy Kong puts everything in the center. So if I click this to go to texture mode, it can highlight everything. Then I'm going to zoom in by scrolling, and then I can see Conquer in the middle. Just select anything of Conquer, and then press the period key on the numpad, and it will focus the camera on what you selected, so you can rotate with the middle mouse button down and it'll rotate around that object. Press box select and go over conquer, and then go to select inverse. This will select everything that you didn't select, and you can click delete. Manually delete the pig skull or whatever you want to call it. Delete the things that you don't want, and we'll box select them again and inverse, just in case there was a little object that we didn't see. If we select his face and then press box select, so make sure you're in object mode, select his face, click box select, and then what that will do is the primary will be his face, but the secondary will be all the other ones you selected. So press Ctrl J and it will combine everything into one group. Now if you press tab and click face, and go to edit mode and click this face and click any face, we'll click his eyeball and press G to move, you'll notice that the vertexes aren't connected. So press A twice to select all. Press spacebar, type in remove doubles, make sure it's the mesh one. It will remove 643 vertexes. Now if we click a face and try to move it, you can see that it's actually connected to his face. There are some screw ups on the material. If you want to fix it, you can pull out this little liney thing here to create a new new window and change this to UV image, and then when you select a face it will show you the UV and thing, and all you have to do is select what you want to move, and over here you just select it. You can box select, scale it down, and just position it into like the red, and then you can see that you don't see the eye anymore, and I'll just do the sides as well, just so you don't look weird, so it doesn't look too weird. You can then go back to object mode, and when you click it you can click smooth. This will sort of smooth it out so it looks better. There are some, if you go back into edit mode, you can see some vertexes are missing. I mean faces. That's just the problem with ripping. Once you're happy with your texturing and stuff like that, you can go back to object mode, and we'll create a box, a cube I mean, and zoom out, select the box, go to edit mode, press N on the keyboard, and scroll down to edge info. Click it and it tells you that it's 2 meters. We want that to be half, so in edit mode, make sure everything's selected by A, make sure you're on the box as well. Press S to scale 0.5, and it was half it to a meter. Go back to object mode, and we'll just pull this above the axes, and you can go back to your character, select him, and the origin is perfectly in the center, but we'll do a quick demonstration of what it's if it was incorrect. So we'll just put the 3D cursor here, object transform origin to 3D cursor. So if say the orange dot was not in the center of your mass, if you try to rotate, it rotates around the orange dot. If you try to scale, it scales really weird. So to get it to the center, just make sure you're in object mode, select the character, go to transform and center mass. So now when you scale it, it does it from the center, rotate, does it from the center. If you zoom out, we're going to scale him by 1,000. And I think that's probably a good size. And yep, delete the box because you don't need it as a reference anymore. Select the character, go back to edit mode, select, make it all highlighted, press N to get this back out, and you'll see under mesh display you'll see normals. Click that. This displays the normals. If the blue lines are facing outwards, it means that it's correct, but you can see that some faces aren't facing the right direction. So what you do is, we'll just click again so we can get rid of it. Press A to select it all twice, and press Control. We'll actually just do it manually. Go to Mesh, Normals, Recalculate outside. It will look like that. All the textures go black, but that's because there's no light on it. Now, if we click the thing, you'll see all the textures. If you want to see your texture, all you have to do is go to go to object mode, add lamp point, and then you just put it above you. But that's just so you can see what you're doing. But I don't need that. Delete. There's one more thing. We'll change this UV we'll get rid of the N. Change this UV to properties. And the reason why we did that is to make it easier. Click the material circle up here, and we'll click the first shape, so we're at the top. on this one, we're going to click the one next to it, the square material texture. And make sure you select the type as well, this thing here. Scroll down and you'll see intensity and color. We don't want intensity. If you have intensity checked, it will do emission and transparent. So we have to go to each one and untick it. Yeah, if you don't untick it, it's when you import it into Unreal, it'll be half invisible. And you'll be like, what? Now that's done. Now we can actually export it. If you're happy with the export as an FVX, just going to put it in a desktop in a folder, and we'll call him conquer underscore cart export. Now we'll go open Unreal. I'm already in a project. I can go to my folder, go to import, conquer cart, leave everything as it is, make sure import textures, import all. And now if I drag him out, he's a little bit bigger than Link, but he's being slowly rendered. So I'll probably fast forward this part. Okay, so it's done rendering now. Here is Conker. In his no-wheeled cart. And here is Link as a child in a white tunic. These models technically should they're not game ready, but they're great for references. Like if you're just trying to show off art, or like it would be recommended to remesh and retexture, and then you can add skeleton and stuff like that. Might be a future project, I don't know. But anyway, have fun ripping.